Good evening. Welcome to Stampin' by Hannah here on Facebook this week. I am Hannah. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the UK, and I'm just checking that I'm live and in the right place. Because the thought of going live on my main main profile just terrifies the living daylights out of me. But I am live as Stampin' by Hannah on my page. So, thank you ever so much for joining me this evening. I know I haven't been live here on Facebook for a few weeks. Life has been a little bit crazy, as usual. And actually this week coming, normally I do a Facebook Live on a Sunday and a YouTube Live on Wednesday. And I won't be live on Wednesday on YouTube this week because it is my son's second birthday. So I'm just going to get that out there right now before I forget. I have got something pre-recorded for you though. But this evening, I thought we would go a little bit extra. And I have a fancy fold. Nothing massively fancy. We're going to do a gatefold card this week, which should be simple, but we're going to jazz it up. So I've got the beautiful fitting Florets designer series paper and the framed Florets stamps and the dies out on my desk already. I'm having so much fun with these. Absolutely love these dies. They're really, really nice to work with. And all the florals and the font. I will go on about this font forever and a week. It's just really pretty and some really nice, easy sentiments to use. You're not having to really think about it. You know, that's a really nice celebrate, which I think we're probably going to use today. I've used this sentiment on a few cards. The card that I'm going to share on Wednesday uses this sentiment. And yeah, the thank you with all they're just really lovely. So I have been pre-cutting some of what we need. But I did think that just before we get going with it, with the card, we'll just have a look at this paper because this paper is stunning. And it is a Wallstock's Last paper. It is double-sided, as always with Stampin' Up, unless we tell you otherwise. And it's just a really lovely collection of florals and colours that just work really nicely together. I cannot get enough of this paper. This particular sheet, this image here, die cuts with the coordinating dies, which is lovely. I've seen lots of people colour these berries in, so it's really Christmassy. I haven't done that yet. There is also a Christmas sentiment stamp set that goes along with this. I haven't grabbed, to be quite honest. I keep meaning to go back and get it because the font just makes my heart so happy, but I haven't because it's a short time release. And that gingham, the gingham is it's a really lovely evening evergreen. I don't know how well that's showing up on camera, but evening evergreen and white. It was just lovely. So that's the paper. I have used this paper. So we're going kind of plain for the paper, but the rest of the card is going to sing, so it'll be fine. So first things first, I have a card base. So this is 21 centimetres by 14.8. So standard card base. So I was going to fold that in the middle. It'd be a standard card, UK card size. But we're not going to fold it in the middle because we're going to do gatefold. So I need the middle section to be 10.5, which would be halfway, which means that we need to score 5.25 centimetres from this side and 5.25 centimetres from this side, which is a little bit awkward. We're going to make it work. Hi, Pat. Lovely to see you. It's you know what? This is my favourite stamp set at the moment as well. I'm really, really enjoying using it. So, 5.25 is awkward, but we're going to kind of float it. So 5 centimetres, 1, 2, and a little bit there. And then the light grey scoring blade. Don't ask me. Hello, Louise. I am very well, thank you very much. I made a 3D project for my blog yesterday, and and I don't do 3D very often. How many pieces of designer scissors paper did I waste trying to make this little box? Like, it's a tiny, tiny little box. It's very cute. But it was supposed to all be designer scissors paper when I first made it, and I cut the wrong blade that often that I've ended up making it out of cardstock and putting designer scissors paper on it. Happens to the best of us. While I have my trimmer out, we are going to make an insert for this card as well. So I've got another piece of, this is soft succulent cardstock, and it measures, before I drop things on the floor, 10 centimetres by 16.5. This card does take 2 full sheets of cardstock, but I think it's worth it. So we're going to score this up on the long edge at about 1.5. Might need to be a little bit more than 1.5 actually, just to pull it up a little bit. So what's that? Nearly 2 centimetres, 1.8 or something. And then that is our trimmer out of the way. So where is my bone folder? I haven't been in my craft room really at all today, other than to do some very loose prep for this evening. It's Sunday. It is the first day of my husband's annual leave. We are off together all week. I'm very excited. So we've been kind of having family day. So there is our kind of standard gatefold, but I said we were going to jazz it up, didn't I? So we've got this panel, which we are going to just fold on that score line that we created. And then this is going to adhere on the inside, just there. So it is narrower than between these two score lines is 10.5 centimetres, and this is cut at 10. The reason being that otherwise I don't want to interrupt the kind of gatefold element. So I have pulled it in a little bit. So that's going to go there, like that. Isn't that cool? I thought so anyway. So I'm going to grab my tear and tape to adhere this on. I was inspired, I've got to admit, this card is completely inspired by an Australian demonstrator, Kylie Bertucci, who made just the most amazing card with something very similar to this, or similar sort of idea. It wasn't a gatefold last week, but she used like the whole card panel. This piece here ended up with 3 pieces of 3 layers of cardstock on it before she even decorated it, and that just blew my brain a little bit. So I take this backing tape off, like so. I used to do fancy folds all the time. If you look back on my YouTube channel, there's loads and loads of fancy fold ideas, and I've just sort of got out of the habit of it. But I need to get back into it, I think. I do enjoy a bit of fancy fold. I don't tend to stick pieces of cardstock together, though. So this is a new experience for me, hence why I'm making a hash of it. So let's fold that way. Line that up in the middle. You could do this with wet glue, and I'm sure it would look less awkward. But you know, me and wet glue. I am going to have to use wet glue today, but we don't get on. So there is our card base. Isn't that really cool? I will put all the measurements for this on my blog, probably on Tuesday, because I do have a blog post already scheduled for tomorrow, because I've got a blog hop tomorrow. I had a blog hop today, blog hop yesterday, blog hop tomorrow. It feels like blogging a lot at the minute. So I have got panels for the front. So there's got one in basic white and a piece of the designer series paper, one for each side. Then, I'll tell you what I haven't cut is the piece of designer series paper to go in the middle. So then I've got a piece of basic white for there, and then another piece of basic white for it inside there, like that. But we need our piece of designer series paper for the front of that panel. So let's get my trimmer back in and the designer series paper, because my brain isn't working. Hello, Karen, lovely to see you. Did I see somebody else pop on and say hello as well? Everything goes past really quickly. Oh, it was Emma. Hello, Emma, lovely to see you as well. So the inside panel, because it's 10 centimetres wide, we've got the panel on the front, the basic white panel is 9.5, so we need a piece of designer scissors paper that is 9 centimetres by, well, I've written all my measurements down and it's still not going in my head, 13.8. So yeah, this card will go on the blog probably on Tuesday. Oh, everybody's barreling in now. Hello, Kelly from California. And Alison, hi, lovely. Alison's in France. We are now international. This is lovely. So, let's get all these layers stuck down because we've got a lot of pieces of cardstock that are floating across the desk at the moment. So let's start with let's leave the inside because I'm going to stamp on that in a moment. But we'll get the designer series paper layered up onto our basic white. Super small. I do love a basic white layer on a card. If you've got a coloured cardstock and then a coloured designer series paper, I really love the look of a piece of basic white just to break it up a little bit. I think it looks very kind of classic. And it does just, yeah, break that colour up a little bit. Because I think sometimes if you've got designer series paper or coloured designer series paper onto coloured cardstock, it can look a bit much, can't it? I'm also being really careful with this paper because it does have a right way up. I don't want to be that way on my card. So, how is everybody? I hope everybody has had a lovely Sunday. Like I said, yeah, we've had a kind of family day. Did involve taking my mother to the supermarket. How cheeky is this? She rang me and went, I need to go to Sainsbury's, Han. Do you think we could go together? It turns out that my mother couldn't work out how to get to Sainsbury's or how to get back out again. But she knew that I would know, so we would go together. Just incredible. But anyway, so there is the basis of our card. I thought that was really lovely. Now, I am also going to have a belly band on this. Let's see if I've actually cut enough cardstock. So this currently is 23 centimetres by 5. Again, all in metric because that's just how my brain works. But a belly band's really simple because I've got 2 layers of grid paper. So line up your card so you've got a flat edge, and then kind of in the middle line up your belly band so you're on kind of straight across, and then without moving it, she says as she moves it, we're just going to wrap it around. Haha, and it overlaps and everything. That's a scary moment. So then we can just pop some adhesive on there, like that. And then we've got our belly band that's a bit tight, she says. And we can just burnish it properly with our bone folder so it'll be flat. And it will slide on and off nicely. And it's the right size. Without having to go, oh, you need to, working out measurements for it. Don't work out measurements for it. Also, you can never get it back on again. Well, you can, if you're not as... I've been a bit overzealous, I think. Oh, yeah, let's try that again. Let's start again. I said you need 3 pieces of cardstock for this, didn't I? No, I said you needed 2. 2 full sheets because you need... it's the length. So, just going to... I'm going to trim this a bit longer, actually. Let's go for 24 centimetres. No, actually, let's cut the 5 centimetres first, then that'll be wasteful. So, 5. And then... the first one was 23, which was absolutely... It worked. It was fine. But I'm going to cut it a little bit longer. Right, try again, shall we? Goodness. So, get everything lined up, and then just there, not quite as tight, and it should work better, she says. So, let's burnish that side. There we go. Bit of adhesive on the end. And then hopefully this one will slide on nicely. Ah, there we go. See, I just needed it not to be quite so tight. There we are. There we go. How cool is that? I thought that was lovely. So let's get to stamping, shall we? I have got a scrap of basic white. And like I said, I've got the framed Florets stamp set. So we're going to use that lovely like corner piece, the two little ones, and I'm going to grab the Celebrate sentiment as well. I think I might need some more leaves actually. Let's have that leaf as well, which just messes up the fact that I've got a load of blocks out that I'm now not enough. Goodness. Let's find another block just for these leaves. So I am going to colour these in with blends because I cannot get enough of blends at the moment. So I'm going to stamp in Memento. And it doesn't really matter where these go on this this piece, because obviously we're going to die cut them out. So just do 3 of those, I think, and a couple of the leaves. And while we are stamping, I'm going to bring in that centre panel again, and I'm just going to add this, and I'm not going to colour this one in. I'm just going to stamp that right at the bottom of our cardstock, like that. And then I do want, I think I'm going to choose what colour I do the sentiment in a minute, because I have another confession. So I don't have soft succulent in a blend, which I don't know how, because I love the colour, it's beautiful. I do have mint macaron, so I've got mint macaron, which is a hue of soft succulent, Daffodil Delight, Night of Navy, and Flirty Flamingo. And we're just going to colour in and see where this takes us. So I could have taken colours from the paper and been completely inspired by the paper, but I haven't today. I've sort of gone a little bit off-piste with the colour selection, just to be a little bit different. I have actually used this colour, or very similar colour combination, on a project, or I say a project, a snippet of a project recently. I cannot get enough of colouring this in. That image just really makes my heart happy. So that will be coming on a Instagram reel. I don't know if anybody follows me over on Instagram. Do go over and check it out, because I have started doing a reel a day. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep it up for. I hope a little while. But I would absolutely love it if you could just pop over and have a look at what I've got. I am trying to put them also onto YouTube as a short. If you've seen any YouTube shorts, they are loads of fun. And if I'm making reels anyway, I might as well make for both places. But they're not always going to be able to go across from one platform to another for various reasons. But yeah, I just thought it was a little bit different, a little bit interesting. So there's all sorts coming. I have got the whole month already planned out. And I think probably about the first week or so filmed and sorted. I spent all of yesterday doing that. I had a day off yesterday. I had a day's annual leave from the day job, and just sat and crafted I don't think I made a full project all day, except that little box, which didn't go all that well. Well enough that it got blogged this morning. Well, it went up live on the blog this morning. So even though mint macaron is not soft succulent, I don't know about you, I think that works. That works well enough for me. So let's have a bit of Night of Navy next, I think. I'm going to do these little flowers here in Night of Navy. Now, I have coloured these flowers in a few times now. And actually I did a make and take for a team event last weekend? Yeah, it was last weekend. It feels like about 6 weeks ago. And used, like, my bonus project was a load of these flowers coloured in and die cut. And I think there was about 18 flowers on this card by the time I'd finished. But I didn't film it because it can take a little while to colour these flowers in. And I'm not the speediest colourer in the world. And I'm not the most precise. And I probably haven't got the best technique. But you know what? The flowers get coloured, and that's really all that matters. So we've got two lovely Night of Navy flowers. Oh, they're very stiff. And we're going to do the rest in Flirty Flamingo. And I sometimes will use the brush ends of these pens, and sometimes we'll use the bullet tips, and I cannot decide which I like best, or particularly when I use either one. I just sort of see what I fancy on the day, which I'm sure is not. Well, it's not technical at all, is it? And I'm sure there's a much more technical way to decide whether you use the bullet tip or the brush. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Because all it matters is that we're getting nicely coloured flowers at the end of it. And Stampin' Blends make colouring in and getting perfectly blended colour really, really simple. I know that people have complained because we've only got two, like a light and a dark, and there's not that third tone in the middle, but I really don't feel like you need a third tone in the middle. I years ago did try for a very, very short time to use Copic markers and Pro markers, and I got so bogged down in trying to work out what colour blended with what that I stopped because it just hurt my brain. But actually, Stampin' Blends colour really nicely. So I tend to sometimes I lay the whole petal with the pale shade first, and then sometimes I'll just go straight in with the dark bits and blend over the top. I don't necessarily know if there's a kind of way of doing it that I prefer. I think, again, just sort of depends how I'm feeling on the day. So I'm going to do one of these in pink and one of these in yellow. And just see see which one. Yeah. Not even see which one I prefer because they're both going on the card. So there's that one. And then we're going to grab our Daffodil Delight. And I've got light and dark here again, as always. And I'm just going to add the dark, so all the kind of folded bits, and then in the centre of that flower. And that one petal that's kind of in the a different orientation to the rest. And then swirl out the rest of the petals with the light shade. See, super, super simple. Now, while I have my dark pen, I'm just going to add some yellow into the centre of the rest of the flowers. And I'm going to leave that one in white. What do we think? I think that's really pretty. So I am going to trim this in half because I have my mini cut and emboss to hand to die cut these pieces. Now the other thing, now that I've used my whole scrap of basic white, I do need, actually, I'm going to cheat because I already have one of these die cut on my desk, so I'm going to use that. And then we need those leaves. There's so many dies in this set, and those for now. The other thing I am going to grab is some washi tape, and the reason is I can't die cut. Oh, sorry, without it. It just, trying to hold dies in place. I stick it at the back of my hand just to take some of that sticky away. Otherwise, it can damage your cardstock if you're not really careful. But yeah, I can't do it. I've got a bit of a phobia of my dies moving around as I try and die cut, and not prepared for that to happen on camera. So grab the cutest little die cutting machine the world ever did see, and then run this through. So I'm sorry, this is a little bit die cut heavy. Not the most exciting bit of video that you're ever going to watch. But you know what? That's okay. So what else have I done this week? I've done a lot of crafting this week. I spent a lot of time in my craft room. It's been lovely. Because my husband now is back to working long shifts. My evenings again get spent in my craft room, which is lush. And I've really missed it. I hadn't realised how much of a difference it would make, actually, not feeling guilty that I'm in my craft room and he's sat downstairs watching telly, which is exactly what's happening at the moment, you understand. But yeah. So I've got quite a bit coming up. Generally over on Instagram. I've got a few blog projects coming up, like this will come up. There'll be one on Wednesday for you, Wednesday evening, over on the blog and on the YouTube channel. And yeah, I'm off this week, so I hopefully get something else made as well. So run this through. I mean, I do love this machine. The fact that I have to, it's a few, I could die cut all of these probably together on the big machine, but then I would be out of shot. And yeah, it's just easier to keep to do it this way, because otherwise the big machine, I love it, but it is awkward to move. But like, yeah, I know, I'm sure there's a better way of doing things than washi tape. But I just, when that's how you started, and that's just how it works in your head. That's sort of how it is. This is probably as well the most complicated card I've made in a while, let alone on camera. Not tying bows though, we're not going that far. I cannot do my brain still will not let me tie a bow on camera. So, run that through. And then we've just got 2 more passes through the big shot for those other flowers on that other sheet. So, I'm going to move that piece out of the way. Try not to knock my Diet Coke over. That would be a disaster. A waste of Diet Coke. It doesn't happen in my house. I think actually after this live this evening, I think there might be something going in my Diet Coke. The joys of being on holiday and not having to worry about the fact that it's Sunday evening. Have I mentioned that I'm on annual leave this week? This is how excited I am. I have not been on annual leave from my day job in a while. And I honestly, so excited. Did a Teams call on Friday and was like, have I mentioned to anybody that I'm on holiday this week? I think every single person on there groaned. Every single one. I am that annoying person. I can't help it. Can't help it. Much needed respite from the day job though, goodness me. It has been a very busy few months. But we are crafting this evening. What is everybody? Is anybody else crafting along tonight? Or have we got plans? We're making anything exciting? Or is there anything that I can help you with? I'm always available for a crafty tip. While I'm thinking about it, actually, while my brain is catching up, this coming week, we have a couple of things happening in Stamping Up Land. The last chance list for the July to December catalogue goes live on Thursday. Oh, Karen's going to craft after she's cleaned up. Oh, that's hard, isn't it? When you've got a beautifully clean craft room and then you have to make a mess again. What a shame. I did a whole podcast on that the other week, Karen. It might be worth a listen. Yes, we've got the last chance sale starts on Thursday. Also, as a demonstrator, I have got pre-order starts for the January to April catalogue, which I'm very excited about. It's beautiful, this catalogue. I do have a copy of it somewhere in my craft room. It's disappeared already. It's just not on the right side of my desk. I think it's across the desk. No, it's buried under a pile of paperwork. Yes, the pre-order starts for that on Thursday as well, which is very exciting. So if you haven't got a demonstrator that you work with and you would like a copy of a catalogue, or if you've shot with me but haven't shot with me for a little while and you'd like a copy, do let me know and I will make sure to order you one, because my order for those will be going in on Thursday morning. Not telling the husband about that. Not at all. So, I die cut this a little while ago and apparently didn't knock all of the little pieces out of it. So I'm going to have to get some wet glue as well, because this hasn't got adhesive sheets on the back. I don't know what I was thinking die cutting this without adhesive sheet, but apparently I did. Oh, dear me. So, me and wet glue. This might end badly. We shall see. So, oh, you see, already got too much glue on. I am utterly hopeless with this stuff. I end up with it everywhere. So that tends to be why I use tape mostly, because I end up with like sticky fingers and glue on bits of my project I didn't want glue on. I mean, I'm not a wet glue person at all. So, line that belly band up. And I use my grid paper all the time to try and get things in a straight line. And it doesn't matter because where the glue has leaked out, which we knew it would. And I've got sticky fingers again. So you can see where the glue has leaked out. It's okay because we'll cover it up with one of these flowers. So let's pop that there, I think. So I'm going to pop that down flat just to cover that bit up. And then all of these flowers I'm going to pop on dimensionals, wherever they've gone on my desk. Got them out this week. I thought I'd be organised. Got mini ones and the big ones. Just because I had a sort of plan for this card, but then not really. I like a card that comes together a bit organically, don't you? So, I'm going to pop these ones over this side, and a blue one. And then this one up here covering up more of that where the glue's gone everywhere. There. And then these lovely leaves, we can just stick some seal on. And these are just going to tuck in. But the reason I popped the flowers down first is so that, because I didn't know where they were going to go. So I'm going to just, I can tuck them in underneath. How cute is that? So I'll just pop that under there. And then, so we need our sentiment on, don't we? I've got my Celebrate sentiment already on my block. Now, what colour? Shall we stick with soft succulent, or do you think you should go Night Navy? I might go Night Navy, actually. Night of Navy. See how we end up here. I need another piece of basic white. Another scrap. Lots of holes in it. And I say fussy cut, but it's not really fussy cutting. I'm going to cut this out in a rectangle. So it doesn't matter that we're coming out of a piece of cardstock that's got several holes in it. There we go. Move that out of the way. Make sure that's dry. There we go. Yeah, you see, you could call that fussy cutting because I've cut it out manually with a pair of scissors, but there's not anything really fussy about it, is there? So, let's have a couple of mini dimensionals on the back of there. And then tuck that in there like that. Isn't that really cute? Then we've still got that sentiment, that panel for the inside. So super simple, just a bit of seal on, and it's going to go right in the middle. So it's going to cover up that join where we stuck that panel on at the beginning. How cool is that? I love this. Right, and then just need to stick that belly band on like that, and there we have our card. Isn't that pretty? Love that. So thank you ever so much for joining me here on Facebook or YouTube if you're watching the replay. Like I said at the beginning, this is the framed Florets stamp set, the coordinating dies and the fitting Florets designer series paper. The paper is while stocks last, although the stamps and the dies are carrying through at least until April. So thank you so much for joining me this evening, and I hope to hear from you again really soon. Bye for now.